Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about some ship designs, some layouts, and as well as the slides presentations we made in order to clarify the kind of art style we're going for in our game here. So a few changes were made towards the slides, like what we did last time, but this time we changed some of the slides and then kind of made it more concise, everything packed in together. So here are the game concept. I included games that are kind of like a precursor or like a prerequisite for the entire slides, and this is pretty much like a synopsis of our pitch, kind of. So they get like a short snippet of what we're trying to accomplish here. And yeah, moving on, I adjusted also the size of the titles here, so everything's fine now. Some of the wordings were changed, but most of it stayed pretty similar to last time. Just a bit more clearer now. And yeah, as you can see, I've also added some of the stuff we've been working on in terms of environment, and I also changed some of the images here to kind of represent more of the Fallout environments. Here we have more or less the same things, and then we finally end with the rest of the systems here. Now, since that's over it, let's move on to the ship designs. Now, this was a bit tricky since we kind of changed the way we kind of laid the ship out in terms of the tiles and how the systems work. We kind of reworked it and for it to be more similar to Void War and FTL. So here, let me show you kind of my process to how I made this kind of ship. So I had to figure out how to start so I can add the rooms, the central rooms at first. This is meant to be for the kind of like a sentinel ship, but maybe the one that the players stole, but it's not really fixed, but this is kind of what we can work with. In terms of the layout, I kind of went for something similar to this, but with a bigger head and a shorter neck. Or yeah, this from Void War. So as you can see, I put my own spin to it because we have a few things here. So first thing I had to do was create like a shape of the ship and figure out how I'm gonna build it from there. The next step, I laid out all the blocks kind of like this here. And then once I lay out all the blocks, I have to figure out, okay, should this room be either, is it gonna be no room? Is it gonna be a system room? Is it gonna be a 2x2, a 1x2, or a 2x1? And then consider all those aspects. And once I laid out all of that, I began to add the essential systems, which is weapon, doors, cockpit, but these aren't necessarily the essentials. Really, the essential is reactor and the cockpit. That's what's needed to drive the ship. But since we're going for a more balanced ship here, well, I'm trying to go for that, I added in the weapon, doors, cameras, shields. So as you can see here, if we're looking here, if it's a system, it has its own area for the kind of the visuals, but this entire thing is the room itself, whatever room that'll be. This is for the doors, and if it's a bigger room, it would be this one, something like this. And yeah, I kind of followed the philosophy of Void War and FTL, where you could have these sizes mix and match together. So I wanted to make the kind of the floor plan or the path that they walk in pretty like branched out. So if you trace it out, so I had the doors here just so you know where they can go through. You can see that they can go top here, or they can enter at the bottom. They can go from up here. So it's kind of like split. And if you ever need, for some reason, a door that goes outside, we could have this, but since we don't have the oxygen system in FTL and Void War, yeah, like these, we don't necessarily need them for now, unless there's a feature for it. But yes, if you had like to add another system, this would be the system, and then this would be its visual counterpart. System, visual, and these grayish ones are kind of non-system rooms, just used for getting around the ship. And as you can see, I had to properly put them together so that they have a path to walk in the ship and have its own visuals in the ship for the rooms. And I don't know if we need this, but I also added weapons for now, in case we do need a place to display them, or they'll be moving around while you aim. And yeah, this is what I have for the first ship design. And I'm planning for the next time, my next task, planning to create a more asymmetrical design here, kind of similar to what FTL did with this ship, but I'm gonna put my own spin to it. So it's similar but slightly different. And this is the first foundation for it before I start adding the rooms, the systems, and then the doors. And I also added a template here just so I know what are the possible rooms. Okay, let's say this is the raiders or the slavers, for example. Then there's going to be a transporter somewhere here. So I'm going to take in mind the use, or really the purpose, the faction specific to this ship. And yeah, that should be it for my update video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.